Ladies, gentlemen, and disappointments. We are coming to you live from the woman caves in New York and Connecticut. My name is Leslie.
And my name is Melissa.
And we are Verbally Disastrous. This podcast is copyrighted through the U.S. Copyright Office as well as the Writers Guild of America. Hello, everyone. This is Leslie M. Jasper of the Verbally Disastrous podcast that can be found on over 20 podcast platforms and YouTube. Now, for this podcast episode, this is episode 45, Part C, Tramping in Cali. If for some reason you missed Part A and or Part B, head back into the podcast platform of your choice and check out the first part of this conversation. If for some reason you're here as scheduled, I thank you kindly. So let's check out the last half of the discussion with Brian and I. Let's check it out. Come on, let's go.
I can just envision like the red light blinking, like 20 different lights, and the woman's going insane like, what the fuck?
Why are you wasting my time, motherfucker?
Why is this guy trying to say thank you for? Fuck you. I gotta go.
It is funny, the whole elevator thing, like how you have an elevator of 20 people and nobody will say shit to each other.
I know.
And you go out there and it's like, oh, so the weather's nice and I think I'm going to go line dancing over at the diner tonight. What are you doing? It's like, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. You know what the other funny thing is? Because I lived in a beach town, when I worked was literally over a mountain. So you could take the highway or you could take the local route, but that's all it was. And you'd be close to Silicon Valley, you'd be close to everything. All these tech companies. The funny thing is I worked in a place, you've heard of the company called Rakuten, which is pretty big. Yes. So I worked at their headquarters. In the parking lots, you'd see a lot of surfing suits on the people's cars drying out. Like guys were surfing in the morning and then they're drying their suit out. And that was weird to me because it was like, what are they doing? And you didn't know when I first got there. They were like, guys, go surfing now. I was like, oh shit, okay. And I didn't realize. It took a minute to realize. I was like, oh wow, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
So in the parking lot, there's a bunch of surf suits. Some guys have surfboards and they were just drying out.
Wow. Yeah, and you think they probably go hit it at lunchtime or definitely after work, right?
Oh, after work is loaded. And I can tell you where I lived, it was great for it because there was rough water. It was like a surfer's paradise. They were always out there, man. They were always catching the waves and doing their thing. A lot of boogie boarding. And it was weird at first when I first got there because I'm like in stoplight waiting and I see all these people crossing me instead of big coats or briefcases and suits. All I see is people holding their surfboards, wetsuits, people with bikes. This is like my view now.
Wow, that's wild. Yeah, that would be totally, can't even imagine. Usually people would take the day off and go sneak somewhere in New York, not even do it right in front of everybody. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
You got to be working.
Yeah, pretty interesting. But you run into a lot of it. It's nice. It was a great vibe down there. It's all over. It's great. Up here now is in the country somewhat. It's very nice.
Do you worry about earthquakes?
Yeah, I went through one. I had one. It wasn't that bad, but I'm sure when the big one was to hit, I'd be shit my pants. But
yeah, right.
I tell you, to feel it was a little nerve-wracking. It was quick, but for that quick time, you realize that you have no control. Like, that is it. I can imagine it being escalated to the level that we saw back in the 80s when that big quake hit.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, let me tell you, that would be very scary. I will say that. I hope that it never happens.
Do you ever worry? I see that it's like something that happens periodically. You would always worry about the structure of the building. Like, I'd be afraid to buy something in case it becomes structurally not sound after having a couple of those tremors.
Right, yeah. I think people just go with it because it's like, whatever. I live on a hill. I'm like, shit, man. If anything goes, we're sliding down.
The mudslide. I'm knocking on wood to make sure that doesn't happen. That would be terrible. Oh, you're like, where's B-Ride? He's riding his front door as a surfboard.
Riding it straight down to the valley. But I tell you, it's scary. You know what? I'd rather be probably out here than in the city because, man, a lot of stuff will fall.
Yeah, especially highways, overpasses. How about the traffic?
Traffic is horrendous, man. Before COVID, it was horrible. And now it's getting back up there, the levels. But it was really bad. Like, I thought New York had bad traffic. That traffic ain't nothing.
Really? It's worse?
This traffic starts early. Like, New York, at least maybe by 7 or 8.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. If you're going out for a 7 o'clock start, you knew when you're getting on the road at like 5:30 or 6, you're good.
Right. Here, no, 5, 4, 5, and 6 are bad.
Thank. I don't have the patience for it. I did it so many years. Oh.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad I wound up where, like I said, where I was originally working. I was only like usually 20-minute ride was the longest. So it was great. I lucked out all these years working that close.
So you're saying if there's no traffic, it would be a 5-minute ride?
Oh, no. 20 minutes was pretty much it. Like I said, I lucked out where a lot of the jobs I went to, I usually didn't have to hop on the main highways. I could always do the side routes. And even if I had to take the highway, I would get it off before it all got congested in either direction. If I was going closer to San Francisco or I was going a little bit before San Jose, I would always wind up getting off before everything got really jammed up.
Is it a 7 o'clock start on a lot of these projects?
It's a 7 o'clock start, but it didn't matter. Traffic was just horrendous it started at like 4 o'clock in the morning where I was working at the locations. I had access to it and I didn't have to hit the highways.
Oh, so you're saying the crazy traffic is on the highway? Because when I was previously asking the question, I was imagining you saying 20 minutes during rush, but then like say if you went at midnight, it'd be like 5 minutes to get there. But you're saying it because it's not on the highway, it would still be 20 minutes no matter what time.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Sorry, Leslie.
Just trying to, I'm trying to be clear on this.
See, you're getting all New York and aggressive on me.
I can't help myself.
You're like, delete this podcast now.
Stop being a see you next Tuesday, Leslie. Like I always was on the job.
Oh, you know, right? I tell you, you're horrible.
What 3 pieces of advice do you have for traveling electricians that you learned, say, through tapping into the network of the other travelers?
I would say make sure when you come down here, you have all your paperwork.
Oh, do you have to have the good girl letter, good boy letter?
Yes, you must. And make sure it's sealed, because some of these people will break your balls and they'll want a raised seal. You know what, man? Why don't you just call the fucking hall and just ask for Brian? Tell you I'm good.
Do you know who I am? I'm number 31,024 at the hall.
I'm meek. I'm number out of this odd society. But no, I would say that, have your stuff, know what you're going to do, like prep before you get over here, like seeing where you can stay, because you don't want to get caught out there. But it's pretty much basic stuff. Try multiple areas too. If you just stop at one spot, then it's like anything, you never know. There's always multiple areas to go to, which is good. You get to see and meet a lot of people.
Now, when you sign the book, do you go, depending on the spot, do you go right out, or do you have to shape up at the hall every morning in order to go out, or you just sign the book and then they call you?
A lot of times, like certain halls now, you can just sign through, everything's online because of COVID. But how it used to be is you had to show up there every day until you got a call to go out. Once you go out, then you go to the shop or you go to the job.
Really? You got to shape up every day and stand there like a day laborer till how long?
Yeah, some halls request it now. That's how it used to be. When I came in, I went to the hall and lucked out. It was busy, so I was in and I was out. So I never experienced waiting or going to other halls. It was just boom, in and out. Yeah, so that's pretty easy. I would also say just you monitor what you take in and hear from everyone. Everybody has an opinion. Just be your own person. There's so much everybody's talking, this and that, or go here and go there, and this, it'll drive yourself crazy. And then all of a sudden you make a wrong decision. There's so much information out there, but just judge who you take your information from. Know who they are first.
Yeah. Imagine you find out your information is from the union's fool.
yeah, or just somebody who is just trouble. It's like in your home locals, you always have your trouble.
Yep.
I run into that out here sometimes. You don't know what's what or who's who. And some people are opinionated or they have their opinions on certain things you should and should not do. You know what, man? All right, that's on you. You do what you got to do. I'll do me. But
would you say you have 3 life lessons that you've learned during your entire career?
My entire career. I got a thick skin, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
I got a thick skin, learned how to deal with many different types of personalities, how to handle it, and I would say that a lot of structure, I guess, in my life, where I've learned to have some sort of order in my life because of this, I guess, the trade. You got to think about it. You're doing this for 8 hours. That's a good portion of your day and your life. A lot of what we do is based on order, as chaotic as it may be sometimes, but I guess I apply that a lot. I see that a lot in my daily activity in life, with my family, with my son, with how I do things outside of how I approach things, hobbies, and things like that. You're always thinking technical. How can I hook this up? How can I do this? How can I map this out? Even down to drive. I'm always thinking of strategy, I guess.
Totally. Totally. I think that's a lot of what I've went through too. Feel like you have a structure, an order of operations. And my son told me that one of the guys gave him feedback. He goes, you're very disciplined and very much do things in order. So I'm laughing because he feels like he's just chaos.
Right.
In his mind, he feels like he's chaos. But meanwhile, the guy told him that he was very structured and organized. And I'm like, well, maybe I rubbed off a little bit on you, kid.
Right. Well, because there's an overwhelming. I get the same feeling sometimes too. Like it feels chaotic when you're doing these things or you're thinking so much. So you're overwhelming yourself sometimes. You can overwhelm yourself because you're thinking so much.
It's one thing to be overwhelmed coming to a new job, coming to a location that you don't know the cast of characters and you don't know the expectations and the culture. I mean, that takes a lot of courage to do what you're doing. I don't know if you realize it, but that's a lot of stuff that people would never want to even leave outside their front door and their community, much less you're going to the other side of the country. So that's hats off to that. That got to be intimidating.
Yeah, it was a little intimidating at first. I didn't even give it a thought. I always approach, especially like meeting people. I'm going to meet somebody. I know I'm going to be able to talk. I go in there thinking there's somebody in this group I'm going to click with. So whatever, they'll come. And that's how I approached it all. And it always worked out that way. I got along with everybody. There was people that I had problems with, but I guess that's going to happen too.
Yeah, you're not going to have everybody likes you. That's for damn sure. Or hate.
I know. I mean, as much as I would like everyone to love me, but
shit happens. What do you think your career legacy would be years from now?
My career legacy, wow. People would say he did nice work and he was a nice guy. You talked and we had a good time with him. That to me is important. I would hate someone saying, oh, he was a piece of garbage.
Yeah. It doesn't smell well.
Yeah, and we've heard of those people.
Yeah.
And we've heard of them, and then we've gotten to meet them, some of them. Some of them are. Yeah, they are, like, straight up. And you're like, wow, how could somebody be that way? And that's how I envision that. When someone says that, I go back to the people that I've met. Someone has told me, yeah, you got to watch them, and then I make my decision about the person, obviously. Some of them have been really like, yeah, that guy was telling me the truth. Wow, how could you act that way? I don't want to be that person. So I hope that would be my legacy, where that Reyes guy was a nice guy.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's got a good accent, speaks well.
Yeah.
Not creeping on my daughter.
Yeah, he don't look like the type.
I got the van with the candy dispenser. I go for younger ones. Now, what do you do in your free time now that you've shared about your adventures in Cali as a traveler? What do you like to do?
Well, I like to go for long walks in the park. I do like to go hiking. I'm in Yosemite. Well, if I'm not, I used to be at the beach a lot. I was a beach bum. I love the beach. Why I liked it because it brought just this calmness to my life. But at the same time, too, I got back into photography. I used to be into photography back in the late 90s, and I left it. I just lost it. I put the camera away and never picked it back up. Got it back out, back in New York. And I was actually doing photos on the bridge when I was working out there and taking the camera out at that time. But I got really heavier into it here. And the beach was an amazing place to take photos. I got so many sunsets, and I couldn't wait to get out of work for the sunset, man. If it was like foggy or rainy, I'd be pissed. But photography there, and for like 3 or 4 years, that's all I shot out there. I'm coming out here now for the last month or so, I'm going to Yosemite a lot and just taking pictures there. So I like photography, and I like going on the trails. We saw, like, a couple of weeks ago, I was on the trail, saw a bear twice.
Nice.
Like not that far away. Like, I wouldn't mind, if I wasn't on the trail and I saw him and I was that close, I would have to actually leave or I would panic and faint. It was close.
Commencing bitch mode in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I was like, at least I'm with people here and I have bodies I could throw at him. So
The sacrificial lamb, yeah.
Yes, I'd be like, Evan, it's time to go. Sorry.
It's been a good run, but here we go. So you're supposed to play dead whenever you see a bear. If you see them with their cubs, don't run, don't swim. They could swim, climb trees, they could do everything.
Fly.
Yeah, the flying bear, too. Don't forget flying.
You've heard of dancing bears, but over here, they're flying bears. But I'll tell you, they go into Yosemite. They have, like, an example. They give you, like, a sample of what a bear can do.
Oh.
So you go to the campsite area, and you got to register. And they have this old school, I'll never forget, they have this door that's strapped up to a piece of wood. They say, do not leave items of food in your car. This is what a bear can do. And it was an old Cadillac door, okay? Back the 70s, the old Cadillac, big ones. This door was mangled.
Wow.
And all you saw print, like claw marks. You go into the reception, they'll show you a video from like the 80s of what a bear did because he wanted to get in. So their problem is, don't leave your shit in there, because if we do that and then the bear comes and does this, now we more than likely got to find him because he's in the area and kill him.
Yeah.
I'm too close now.
It's like better off putting it in where the prey is, inside.
Pretty much. But yeah, I've been doing the photography thing a lot. I like that. I got a website up.
What's the name of your website?
Spectacularimagery.com. And I just got some stuff up. I haven't sold anything. I'm just putting my work up. I'm trying to alter the website and see what I can do with that. But I'm looking to go into other avenues with it, maybe clothing, things of that nature. So I've got some samples going on there. So I'll see what happens with it. I've got some good reviews about it. I've been giving them to friends to just say, hey, how you like this shirt? What do you think of this? And they're like, yeah, it's nice. I'll see what I can do with it. But
have you submitted it to any places for consideration, any of your work?
Well, I've actually got the photographs I've submitted. I've joined up one competition out here where I haven't heard from them yet, but I won't hear from them until end of December. It's called Yosemite Renaissance, and it's all artists throughout the whole area. They put out their work. You get chosen, you get to be put up on the galleries throughout the Yosemite or the Sierra Valley area. So it goes through multiple areas or art galleries. That's the first I've done. I've never done anything like that. So I had to submit work. I've had to submit writing. I've had to submit what my work was about. I think me and you talked about this work representing things that have to do with nature, political. So I had to write a piece on that. So I'll see what happens with that. And the shirts that I'm working on, I just got them. So I haven't really done anything with that yet. I just got them out printed and made.
Take photos of them so that way I could put it on my blog of your shirts, or you got promo, send it to me so that when I promote this podcast episode that I can share that, so that way people can see it.
Yeah, I'm going to create a line, and it's called B-Lax.
I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I'll show you the symbol and everything. And my whole thing behind that is to just be chill, be calm, be cool. The shirts that I'm trying to make in the pictures, that are all my pictures that I've taken, promote that vibe. I want the person who's wearing it to feel that vibe. I want you to see that shirt and say, man, that's where I want to be right now. Even if it's a shitty day out where you are. Like, I'm glad.
It's a mindset.
Or the person who's looking at it say, yo, that's a nice, man, where is that at?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of, I want that shirt out there, and I want to accompany that shirt with some sort of poem, some sort of writing that will go with the shirt, but will have the meaning behind that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I'm going to put it in a type of form where I'm debating. I might not go with paper, because paper you probably throw out. Maybe something like a fridge magnet type of thing with a nice poetry writing on it, where a person will see it every day.
Yeah.
They'll associate it. It'll be something positive. Have positive energy out there.
That's right. Make sure you trademark through the U.S. Copyright Office any of your creative work, so that way nobody can steal it.
That's the next thing I want to do, actually. I want to look into that. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to get involved with. So I got a couple of things. I've been creating this whole summer. Summer's been about a lot of creativity with me, and a lot of change in my life coming. So hopefully, maybe next podcast we do, I won't be in the local anymore. I'll be
a best-selling artist.
That's it, man.
Anything you put your mind to, you put out your intention. I have a goal for my Verbally Disastrous channel to become monetized and have 5 million subscribers.
You know what? Let me tell you something. And I want you to put this in there. This is something that you weren't going to ask me. I'm just going to say this to the audience.
Okay.
I've known you for quite some time. One of the things I will always say, and I've talked about you to people over here. I says, yes, I work with this girl out there. I says, she'll pull wire with she'll put any of you to shame. But what I've always gathered and taken away from you was your attitude, which was a very positive and go-getter type of mentality, where you want something and you will do it. I've seen that through your books. I've seen that through talking with you. Because everything you do, everything you tell me about, you do. And you just don't half-ass it. You do it. I talked to you about the BMI. Remember when you got me in that with the building module?
Yes, the BIM, three-dimensional modeling.
We three of them, you followed that through, and that became your work. You told me about your book. That became your work. You told me about all these things. Everything you've told me about so far, you have done.
Yeah, yesterday I just picked up at Department of Buildings my site safety manager card. So that was exciting. Like 2 years of studying building code. I still got to go through building code. You keep your mind fresh. So I was thinking of doing some tutorials to try to make safety stuff fun. Like that's another project that's on the horizon that I'm going to add to the repertoire. But yes, I appreciate the awesome feedback, especially from my good friends who are also doing good things. It's good to see it. Whenever you have like that good vibe, it's like, why not share it? We have to have the abundance mindset. So why not share whatever you've learned with your friends, because you want to see them do well, because it's their journey and they're going to put the elbow grease in it, or they're just going to kick the tires.
These are people that we know, people that we go to work with. We don't really know, but a lot of people are hurting and they're in pain, and especially with what just happened with COVID.
Yeah.
My brother has a business in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And he called me one day and he told me, Brian, you're not going to believe, I had this 22-year-old young man came to me. I'd known him for a while. His father asked me to take him in as an apprentice, and I took this kid in. He was happy. He was good. COVID came, and then he changed a little bit, and then he wound up pulling up to a bridge and jumping off of it. And he said, I don't understand why. I don't know what happened. He was so happy. I talked to him at work. I knew he was leaving the business because he was going to college to pursue his dreams. And I blessed him on it. I said, you go about it. Anytime you want to work, you have a job here. And he says he just left, and he wound up killing himself next week.
That's a shame.
So they're hurt. They need to hear something good, you know?
Yes, and then constant affirmations. I actually like listening to Abraham Hicks.
Okay.
She is a person that speaks, like, I guess, on the behalf of the collective consciousness, and her vibes are, you have your intention using the law of attraction on what you want, and you got to verbalize it constantly, regurgitate what it is you want to do, and put it out there, write it down, have it like little note. You got to have in your mindset that it's happening, whether or not you see it or not. It's in like vibrational escrow.
Right.
So you keep rolling through life and listening to more positive, surrounding yourself with positive people, because we're all going through challenges. Some of us just keep a smile on our face, but you got to just always go forward with the goals, like what do you want to do, and put forth. You got to be excited about it, right? Like when you're working on your photography, you're excited to find that one shot that's candid.
Right. That's the thing. You're right. I was taught this way and brought up like a lot of that is like crazy talk. What's not going to happen? But it's the truth. What you said. You got to keep that tally. But the hardest thing is with people is because something doesn't come right away. Well, then they revert back to their old ways. They don't give it a chance. They don't understand that you have to give this some time to produce something, and it takes a while, sometimes years even. But if you keep that, and like he says, it all depends on who you hang out with. Because let me tell you, you hang out with the wrong people. Yeah. You hang out with a bunch of druggies who are selling drugs or who are doing drugs, more than likely you're going to be doing that eventually. Yeah. So why hang out with somebody who mentally affects you in a negative way? Well, that's going to happen. But if you hang out with somebody who mentally affects you positively, then you're on the right path, and you can see it. You got to be there for the long haul. You got to be ready for that long haul.
Yeah, they see the end result, but they don't see all the grinding. They don't see the staying up late, the editing, all the work that goes into stuff to create something, whatever it may be. But even if you fall, you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and keep going. I'm sure you saw it, but on a different level, as far as how people treat you differently once they find out you're Hispanic. Like me, it's hard to avoid it. I mean, maybe you could get passed off as an Italian, but I don't think we've ever spoke about how people have maybe perceived you negatively based upon something that you can't control, such as your background.
Right. No, well, I saw that a lot. But that's one of the things also I learned how to deal with certain personality and to grow a thick skin, because a lot of what I encountered was people not knowing what I was and then speaking and saying things they probably wouldn't say if they knew what I was. They knew I was Spanish. Some of the people are people that you and I know.
Yeah.
A lot of them have retired. A lot of them are that old school and they've retired. But it was very interesting to see how someone can be a certain way behind your back and then to your face alter their ways and act like they're your buddy.
Especially, it's like a brutal thing.
In my head, I'm like, you just said this about this individual, this racist, derogatory comment, and now you're doing this. And I'll tell you, from the standpoint of females coming in back then, at the time, I remember being told not to help a female that was on the job when clearly the person needed help, because even I, at the time, would need help doing it because the work, it was an impossible task.
Yeah.
The person was like, no, if they want to be in the business and they want to do man's work, then let them treat them like a man and let them do it themselves.
Yeah.
And just help the person anyways, but that's what it is.
There was a lot of that. And I described in the very beginning, nobody spoke to me in my class. They didn't want nothing to do with me. Then we went from that to all of us being buddies and all of us going and hanging out. But there were times, so many times, where people didn't want to show me how to do shit. But if I was a dude here, you wouldn't have a problem.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you, Leslie, we've come such a long way.
Yeah.
Where, you don't see that. Sometimes I feel it's a little too strong because, man, you got to watch anything you say now.
Yeah, that's a little too much. I feel nervous.
Yeah, everyone's got to say, be careful. Luckily, I've had some situations where I can see where someone gets a little, and then I got to talk to them and say, yo, man, come on, really?
We just playing.
I said, you can't take what I'm telling you, and I'm pretty light.
Yeah.
With my verbal exchange with you, wait till you run into some other people, and then what are you going to do?
There has been some times where I see another female pop up on the job, and I'm like, God damn, I got to watch my mouth.
As you say, fuck, I got to watch my mouth. How you doing? I'm Leslie.
I've always felt like the biggest compliment to me, I know I'll hear different stuff from different people, but I've always liked when someone had said, I forgot you were a chick. So I'm not bothered by it because I felt like that was like the highest compliment you could give me because you thought I was one of the guys, which I am.
Yeah.
Just got some knockers.
You're right. Yeah, like anything, man. It's in a work environment. Some people do get out of hand sometimes. But even if there are no women in the area, you get out of hand with some stuff they should say. But I tell you, I've worked with two women actually. One's about to retire. I keep in contact with her. I get to keep in contact with both of them, and they're very nice. And the one, she's from Chicago. She's been traveling for years. She's out of Chicago local, and she's a Spanish woman. And talked about the same thing. She was like, yeah, sometimes I see it through travel, and she said, you know what? A lot of the travelers are really cool. She's had some awesome times. More good times than bad. Everybody's willing to help. I have no problems. So it's good out here. It's cool. It's a nice experience.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And we got it good because I talked to a lot of guys out here and they're like, man, we can't even get into Local 3. You don't even bother. Nobody can get into Local 3. You guys have that on lock.
Yeah.
And that's because there's always a list.
There's always a lot of people that come in too. I've done the apprentice interviews and I remember, not supposed to say how old the woman was, but she was clearly in her 60s. Interviewed her and had to make sure you craft the questions, obviously, to be fair. Map out, you're going to be in a cold environment, you're going to be in a hot environment, you're going to deal with 4-inch rigid in a trench, you're going to deal with being on a deck job up on the top floor with 30-mile-an-hour winds blowing on you in February. Mapping it all out. I remember a guy thinking later on during the interview, speaking to me like I'm stupid. He probably felt we were targeting him, but meanwhile, you got to be fair and map out all the expectations. And my favorite question to ask is, what's the definition of a craftsman?
Right.
Some people get it, some people don't. They have like an awesome picture that they're able to orate and create a photo in your mind, and then some people just jumble some words together so you can tell who's going to be good.
If I was in front of you, I'd put up a Sears catalog and the tool section, and there's your craftsman right over there. That's a horrible joke, wasn't it?
It would be funny though. I would think, oh, you got the skin in the game for this one.
You'd be like, you're hired. You are hired.
The laborers down the street need some people.
There's street sweeping down there. Why don't you go ahead?
Can you use your arms together, your hands, and then motion in a left to right manner? All right, good. You got the job.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, my goodness.
I didn't even know if the laborers have an apprenticeship. Do they?
I have no idea. Oh man.
You clean up like this. The green stuff, you spread it out on the floor.
Yes, but you gotta throw it at a 45-degree angle. Make sure your wrist is, perfectly perpendicular.
Like you're feeding the ducks?
Yes.
You know how to do that, right?
You know, when you feed ducks, when you're unemployed and you go to the pond, you wait, lots of work. Oh,
I just told my son the other day what that term meant. He was like, "Oh my God, that's funny," because I have it in my head. It'll be in your head forever now.
That's definitely.
I didn't hear you. Sorry.
This is my first podcast. I'm very excited.
Yes. It's going to take me a little bit because we have 107 minutes. So
Nice.
it'll take me a little bit to get to it. But I figured those are all my questions that I have.
Yes.
And you've been an awesome participant.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. You sent me the website.
Right.
So that way I could share on the blog. So that way I'm helping you promote. And I'll send you via email, cut and paste of what I blogged. And then you could put it on your blog.
Great.
So you can cross-promote.
Cross-promote. I love it. I need your help because you're good at this stuff now, so I'm going to start doing it.
It's only because I'm anal with all that. I got to have every social media, 4 blogs.
The only thing I know how to type without looking out at the screen is my name. I know how to strategically place my hand for BRIAN, but that's about it. Reyes is giving me a problem, but you know it'll work.
I figured you probably know that one website, www.pornhub.com.
Oh yeah, that one. I'm very good with that too.
I have an account.
So I don't even have to type anything in. I actually speak it in.
Whenever you're on a computer, it recognizes you, right? It's like, how did
face recognition? I have it on the facial recognition.
How did that get there?
Whoa, hey Evan, what are you doing? You're only 8.
Well, it was a pleasure communicating with you, getting to know your journey as a young kid from the Bronx. Of course, we'll have to do this again. Maybe you can get Doily or somebody to come on and we can all bullshit together. That would be great.
That would be nice. You've been a great host. Thanks. This is my first experience, and I tell you, I had a great time. I feel very comfortable, and I would definitely do it again. Definitely.
Thank you. This wraps up this episode with my discussion with Brian Reyes on his journey as a traveling electrician / photographer. I will provide the information in my blog that is known as www.constructiontales.com. Check out this podcast that can be found on over 20 platforms, including YouTube. I thank you. Have a great day. Peace out, Cub Scout. This wraps up another episode on the Verbally Disastrous podcast that can be found on over 20 podcast platforms, including Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Pandora Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. For more information, head over to our website at www.constructiontales.com. I thank you for listening and have a great day. This podcast is protected through the U.S. Copyright Office as well as the Writers Guild of America.